All right, welcome, guys. Uh, Congratulations on helping us to make history. I think I'm right when I say this is the first time in the history of Africa that we have a virtual trade fair. And it was designed and developed by Africans. So I'm proud to be part of that team. And what I'm also amazed on is how small the world has become, that when we started to put this whole program together, we were just a bunch of boykies here in Fourways, getting to know each other quite well. Scotty was part of that team. Then Scotty started to gallivant around the world. But when we started to put this platform together, Scotty and his team was already busy on similar stuff with their never-ending networks and all the other stuff that was happening. Within the space of 3 months, the world became small. And at one stage, I think Scotty was sharing with us there out of Bali. I met Mark Jarrett from one of the connections that we were referred to. Then a while ago, through Trevor and Ivan's connections, I met Yufi there from Ghana. And last night I was on a call to America, Denver, where we also invited people to connect. So it's exciting to live in these times and to have something like this platform where for those people who are joining us for the first time, by all means, in between sessions, or if you listen to the speaker that you wanted to listen to and you have some time on your hand, or even tonight after we finish the sessions, please go and check out the various sites, the stalls. There are very exciting products and services there. Connect with the people. But we are privileged today to, on this session, have Scott Cundill. And I remember when I met him for the first time, and he came highly recommended there by the other people in the chamber. And he just has that ability to capture your attention immediately. Scotty, we're looking forward to listening to your session, and he's one of those unique people who is quite a specialist on the social media, but not just social media like everybody else knows it, but I would specifically remember his teaching on the one-liner and how to get yourself out there in the market very quickly. So Scotty, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jasper. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to just return the compliment. You know, Jasper, we've met many years ago. And the great thing about the chamber guys, the boykies, as you say, and I've now got some great ladies associated with them. And I have to say, it's become a really nice, blossoming, unified community that you guys have put. But Jasper, one thing I want to say about you and the bank and what you are doing is you are so far ahead of the curve in terms of your thinking. And I think, you know, as time goes by, I think your kind of bank, your spirit of collaboration, your different approach to the way money works, etc., is unique, and it's very intelligent and it's very wise. So congratulations on that as well. And just shows you what an amazing job the rest of you guys at the chamber are putting together. And now we've got some new, agreed, applause. So guys, I'm going to be quite brutal today, I must be honest. There's a nice small group of us. It's always nice to have a small group because I can pick you all out. I can see your photos, and some of you are hiding behind, you know, no photos, etc. But it's really cool. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for waving. You're there in person, which is awesome. And, you know, I'm just going to get straight into it. Thanks, Dean. 2 thumbs up. Yeah. I love to see you. I need to get straight into it because before COVID hit, it was kind of like I was in a situation where I would do a few presentations and I would give some information across, but I wouldn't do it in a highly opinionated way. And now I've kind of started changing my approach. I've done several presentations in the last couple of weeks, and I've become very direct. And the reason for that is because post-COVID, if you excuse the phrase, we don't really have the time and money to F around anymore. Before, you could read a bit of a book here, and you could do a little bit of social media here, and you could try this, and you could go to this particular event. You could do things half-heartedly. You could play around. You could mess around. You could just give it a bit of a go. It didn't work. Try something else. We don't really have that luxury anymore, guys. And I have been in business for 20 years. I had a website design company in the summer of 1996. That is how long I've been in the internet game for. I've only ever had my own business and businesses. Majestic itself has been going for 20 years. We've obviously reshaped, reformed, redeveloped, pivoted, all those fancy new words. And we've been in a very interesting situation, because when it came to January, February, March of this year, we came off a huge investment curve. And I know Trev and all you guys, Jasper and the rest of you, from the Four Ways Chamber, met Dawn many times over there, and many of you guys as well. We came out of a huge development process, and we came out of a rough 2019 into an even rougher 2020. And April of this year, that's 3 months ago, we had the worst month I've ever experienced in business. Not only did we not win any new clients, we lost a whole bunch of clients because of COVID. We were down, we were flipping flat, and it was a case of going, what do we do now? So I immediately had a knee-jerk reaction. And I said, that knee-jerk reaction is, I'm going to talk to my suppliers, and I'm going to be completely open and honest with them. I'm going to say to them, we need to drop what we're paying you. We're not going to stop paying you. We're going to pay you on time, but we're going to pay you less, and we're still going to owe you the rest of the money, but to help with our cash flow. So we don't want to be one of those bastard businesses that just doesn't pay, cuts you off like our clients were doing to us. So we were very open with our suppliers, and we had a terrible April. And at the end of the April, I said, you know what? Stuff this. I'm not going to do that anymore. We're going to turn everything around. We're going to actually extend our overdraft, and we are going to actually do exactly the opposite. We're going to pay everybody on time. We're going to pay all our team like they should have been paid. We're not going to drop salaries. And in fact, we're going to even put more time and more effort and more reinvestment into what we're doing now. May was the single biggest month of business we've ever had at Majestic, and June looks like it's going to match that. It's absolutely flipping flying. And we're actually in an amazing situation. And we put a lot of hard work and a lot of effort into something. And this is the purpose of my talk to you guys today. And we cannot F around anymore, guys. There is one number that you have to live and breathe. And if you do not live and breathe this number, and if you do not even know what this number is, you are in huge, monumental, catastrophic trouble. That number is, how many clients do I need in the next 12 months to get my business to where it needs to be? Not where I want it to be, thousands and thousands. Where does it need to be? If you do not know that number, in its purest simplicity, it's game over. So I'm going to challenge you guys all to do now. Please, will you just type into the chat, how many clients do you need, not want, the ideal number of clients in the next 12 months? If you have to hesitate, then we have a problem. If you don't know that number, then you need to think very carefully about your business. I'm here in Bali, gallivanting around the world, quite as Jasper said, living in an awesome place here in Bali in Indonesia. We have ducks, we have swans. It's a lovely place to meditate and do all that kind of stuff. If you do not know that number, then you should be out meditating and rather spend time with your family and rather enjoy your life or do something very different. Business is not for you. That's awesome. Look at this. We have 20, we have 28, we have 10, we have 50, we have 100, we have 300, we have 30. We have 10,000. Woo, Luther's on a roll. 100,000 Luther. 150 from Dawn, 300 from Kelly. That's awesome. 5 good ones per month. I like that. 1,000 members. Guys, well done. You managed to put that out pretty quickly. Notice the numbers 50, 100, 30 come up. That, guys, is your golden number. After this number, things are going to start to get less and less clear. And this is where the flipping problem comes in. This is where the issues start. Because if you've noticed something, for the decades leading up to this, there was a famous quotation called, there are 3 kinds of lies. There are lies, there are damned lies, and there are statistics. There's 3 different lies. It's one of the greatest. Now, nothing in this world has shown statistics to be used for agendas like what is happening in the world right now. You can take statistics of COVID-19 and you can read them in 2 completely different ways, to 2 completely different news articles, and spin them in 2 completely different audiences. And it's just incredible how you can watch statistics be blown out of proportion in completely the wrong way. What I'm asking you guys to do today is, please do not mess around with the statistics of your own business. Your sales pipeline, which will end in a number of new clients in the next 12 months is the single most important number. And if it doesn't serve your agenda to hit that target, then do not do it. If it's not directly and specifically related to that target, do not do it. So I'm challenging you guys to please do this now, because we don't have time to mess around anymore. You don't have time to play around with, oh, let's do 300 landing pages and let's A/B test them all the time and let's do that. You can still do that. I'm not saying don't. But until you have got your sales pipeline and you understand what those numbers are, all you're going to do is you're going to be fluffing around and you're not going to be serving that agenda. Right. I'm going to use a number now because, and I noticed it from these numbers. Let me just go back to them again. We had 20, 28. I like that, Gavin. You know, you haven't even rounded it off. You've gone for 28, exact number of clients. 10, 50, 100, 300, etc. Generally speaking, I use the number 30. It's amazing how often the kind of medium average of the number of 30 clients in 12 months comes up. If it's 80, that's fine. If it's 50, that's fine. If it's 100 or it's more than 100, you will not get to your target unless you create partnerships and resellers. Okay. That is your golden ticket out of here, guys, is your partners and your resellers. So if you only want 30 clients, then go out and get those one by one. No problem. If you want 50 clients, 80 clients, you can get them one by one. Once you get to 100, you need to find resellers and they will introduce you. So you might only need 20 or 30 resellers. Little secret. We signed up 20. In fact, it was a weird story. In Christmas last year on the cruise, no laptop in sight, I said, I need to build a reseller channel and focus on that. Within 6 weeks, I had 20 resellers in place around the world, sales trainers. Of those 20, about 4 of them have turned out to be phenomenal. Guess how many I need to be successful? Maybe 4. How cool is that? In other words, what you're doing is the techniques I'm going to show you today about your sales pipeline are specifically designed to help you do those 2 things. Get direct business, but also build your reseller channel. The same principle applies. But if you don't know those numbers, it's not going to help you. Now, how do you take that next step from going from 30? What is the next step out of that 30? The next step out of that 30, and I want you to multiply this figure by your number. So Gavin, you had 28, multiplied by the number I'm going to give you now. Nissi, 20, multiplied by the number. Brox, 50, etc., etc. Right. If you want to get 30 clients or your number, I want you to multiply it by 5. Now you're going to get a new number. If it's 30, 30 times 5 is 150. If it's 50, 50 times 5 is 250. Multiply it by 5. Get ready for shock horror, guys. Because if you do not have 250 people in your sales pipeline, you're not going to hit those targets. Now, who can honestly tell me from the truth of their heart right now that you are working on 150 or 5x your current number of people? Who is nurturing those? Who can say, Brock, yes. I have a sneaking feeling Brock was going to say yes. Definitely on the ball in that regard. Luther says yes, good. Gavin, true. Gavin, true is not yes. Gavin, is it a true that my statement is a true, or yes, you are actively nurturing those people? Peter says, hell no. We have a lot of work to do. I love your honesty, Peter. I love it. In the process, nearing 30. Okay. So Dean, how many did you want, Dean, originally? Dean, you haven't got your number in here.
Needed 10, Scott.
10.
So 50, I guess. So we don't know because we're still new in the startups. So obviously we got to work and see what is our closing ratio going to be. But
what that's going to be. Okay. So
cool.
Be yeah, multiply it by 5. So you need 5x that. Good. Yeah, that's fine, Dean. So go for 50. So most of you saying yes. Nope. 32. Yuffie. Being honest, Yuffie. I love honesty, guys. That's awesome. Lee says picking up speed. That's a very nice little way of not answering the question, Lee, but don't worry, I hear you. Brock's working on a pipeline of 2 to 5% closure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But hang on, I still haven't finished yet, guys. So here's your statistics. From your 30 to 5x gets you 150. You need to learn 150. You cannot work with idiots. Forgive me for using that term. Do not work with PTWs. First person to tell me what PTW stands for gets a virtual hug. Who's it going to be? Becky, it is realistic. I want to hear why Becky says it's not realistic for you. It is realistic. It has to be realistic. You're going to struggle. And I'll challenge you. Maybe you're an exception, but let's see. Stella says private company. Okay. I'd like to hear a little bit more from you, Stella. I enjoy that. People to trade with. Yes. VTF. What does PTW stand for? Anyone know? And you're not allowed to Google it. Some of you are Googling it, cheats. Yeah, Dean, I'm watching you close. Who knows what PTW stands for? They're people you don't want to work with. Nobody. Peeps to wealth. Nice try, Karina. I like it when people give it a go. The answer, pain in the gut, very close, actually. For those of you who are not in South Africa, a gut's an interesting term, which will not be translated in this particular session. So, PTW, professional time wasters. That's what it means. Okay. And my goodness, there are those. So, those 30 leads, you need 30 deals come from 150 leads. 150 leads, they have to be good quality people. You can't just chuck 150 people there to go, yay, I've got 150 people. Woo! You have to know that they are correct. You have to know that they are the right people. Okay, now, next question. You don't have to answer this, but do you know who those people are? In other words, do you have their names, email addresses, contact details, etc., etc.? Are they on, even if it's on an Excel spreadsheet, a Google sheet, do you know who those 150 people are that's going to convert into those 30 people? Karina says yes. So you've got those details. Good. Even if you don't have the full amount, you might only have a ratio of that. So you need your 150, but you might only have 50, and those 50 are going to convert into 10 deals. So that's fine. Luther's, he has them on Majestic. Yeah, exactly, Luther. So, cool. Resurrecting old lists. So, Lee, that's a good one. Not bad, but I'm going to give you a missing link. Trevor's got them. And Trevor, you've already got the missing link. And I'm actually going to use Trevor Kittler, not here, because I'm going to pick on him today. He's not here at the moment. I'm going to pick on him anyway. So, this is what the process is, guys. If you want to get those, and there's really only 3 numbers that we're going to look at today. The first is the number that you've got. How many deals do you want? The second number is how many leads do you have to nurture, right? And they have to be high quality. My phrase is never put crap into the app. So in other words, the app that we use, which is a free, my most trusted, most of you guys already know about it. It's a little sales pipeline management, a Trojan horse for LinkedIn. Mark knows all about it. No, you only have to put the 150 people in there that are high quality. Do not waste your time with anybody else. And I know back in the old days it would go, yeah, but they could turn out to, no. Yeah, but they might know someone who, no. Don't do that. When you spend time closing deals, you need to spend time with high quality people and nurture them, schmooze them, send them content, etc. Now, in order to get there, right? Is Trevor Kittler here? Trevor? No, he's not here, is he?
Yes, I am. I'm hiding.
Trevor, good. Okay, good. Thank you for not hiding. Why don't I see your name?
I'm camouflaged.
Ah, there you are. Okay, Trevor, I'm going to pick on you today, but don't worry, in a good way. Okay, so, oh yeah, Scott's LinkedIn app is cool. Yeah, thank you. It's called My Most Trusted. I'll show you guys about that later, but it doesn't matter right now. What matters is you understand the following: your sales pipeline, 5x to get those leads, to get the next layer of those at the top, right? My key focus is LinkedIn. That's how I get them. And there's lots of ways, click funnels, et cetera. But I would suggest not using any of those tools until you understand this methodology that I'm showing you now. Then you can use it. Now, if you go to LinkedIn, which is my specialty and which I'll be talking mainly about today, you then take that number in the middle and you multiply that by 3. So you want 30 deals. That means 150 high quality people. Don't work with idiots. Don't put crap into the app. Take that 150, multiply it by 3. That's 450. Just to make it easier, I'm going to say 500. Round it up. 500 at the top will give you 150 good quality leads, and they will turn into your 30. I know this is some of you guys are going, man, I thought I was going to learn something really new and innovative and interesting today. No, man, where's the good stuff? I'll have to explain this. So many people don't do this correctly. Now, watch what happens when you start asking yourself this question. Hang on, I only need 500 at the top. I could go onto LinkedIn, and in the course of a week, I could just invite 500 new people, right? Abso-frigging-lutely. And hang on a second. What if those 500 people, first of all, you've got to just try and get your mind around this notion that you only need to invite 500 people to get your 30 clients, or invite 300 people to get maybe 12 or 15 resellers. My goodness, that's actually a lot lower than I thought. Why am I running around like a blue-ass fly trying to put content everywhere, blogging, tweeting, twisting, TikToking, flipping, A/B testing, going crazy, when all I actually need to do is just invite 500 of the right quality people? And then you go like, it can't be that simple. And of course it's not that simple, but the numbers actually are that simple. The methodology is not, but the statistics are. If you do anything around those statistics, you are now interpreting them just like all the media and everything is taking statistics and creating their own agendas. You can take that pipeline and you can spin it with all these other weird statistics, like how many likes have I had? How many shares on LinkedIn? How do I do this? You know, what is happening? Should I get my Twitter followers? And must I make a stupid video of me standing on my head doing pirouettes half naked to get TikTok viewers? What should I do? We're like another South African word. We're social media befok with all the stuff that's going on. But does it actually serve our agenda of our personal agenda of getting to those particular leads? That is the ultimate question we have to deal with. That is what we have to know. And are we serving that agenda? Now, if you only need 500 people at the top, that's 500 LinkedIn invitations, which you can do in 1 week. That tells you something so interesting and so incredible and so profound and so pivotal that if you get this, it changes your business life forever. It says to you, why don't I specialize? If I only need 500 people, why am I trying to look everywhere for new business? Why don't I only look in one particular category? Why don't I only look at CFOs? Why don't I only look at the construction industry? Why don't I only talk to school teachers? Why don't I become a specialist? Because if you count the number of CFOs on LinkedIn and you count the number of owners of manufacturing businesses on LinkedIn, if you count the number of teachers there are on LinkedIn, there are way more than 500 just in your country alone. So why are you looking for all this business being fluff, 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 fluff? Why don't you just become an expert and focus on that particular industry? Because remember, guys, those 500, which become 150, which become 30, is worst case scenario. What's really going to happen is while you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, they're going to start bringing in referrals and they're going to start introducing to new people and you're going to grow your business anyway. So you might as well do it like this and follow the same process. You might as well specialize because you're going to get other referral business from other people anyway down the line. Do you see what happens? And when you specialize, a miracle happens. A miracle. And that miracle is people see you as one of the most credible industry leaders and thought leaders because you understand their pain. You get them. Because when you do those LinkedIn invitations, and you try to spam people with your product or service, it's not going to work. You need to build your personal credibility and your trust. Now, I checked with Facebook and they said it's perfectly polite to drink coffee during a Zoom meeting. So I just want to quickly let that sink in. And if anyone wants to make a comment while I do that, is this resonating at all? I know you don't want to specialize, but you have to. Does anyone want to make a comment on that? And yell at me and be cross with me if you want.
Yeah, Scotty, I'm just wondering what the PG rating of this talk is. So we might need to no, but fantastic input and great content. And again, I don't want to chase because, you know, this is powerful stuff, but we do need to keep an eye on the time. So if folks do want to make some quick comments, that's fantastic. Let's get them going. But otherwise, Scotty, I think you must just run ahead. Yeah, Trevor, let's go to you.
Just one quick comment. It depends on what price you're selling out there. So for instance, we have an objective to get 1 million subscribers at $1 a month. So that's a very different input, and I would suggest that you've got to understand what is the price point of your product, your target market. Can 30 people maintain a profitable business? So perhaps you've got to touch on that, Scotty.
Absolutely. And, you know, one thing I don't want to get too much involved in is business advice. In other words, what should your pricing model? Obviously, this is hugely important, Trevor, and you're spot on. I'm kind of hoping that sort of level of acumen, and that's quite easy to find. And especially within the chamber, you guys actually offer those kind of resources themselves. And yes, you do need to get that pricing model right. And you do need from a business acumen, none of which means anything if you're not nurturing leads. Like nothing whatsoever if you don't still have that sales pipeline. And what essentially I want to show you guys is that if you focus on your 500 invitations and you provide them with something that shows you that you understand their pain and don't sell to them, and you build your personal credibility, it drives me up the wall when I see small business owners hiding behind their business cards and their logos and their company name. Guys, nobody cares about your company name. They don't care that your logo, if you look at it from a certain angle, is the 18th flippin' dimensional chakra of light and love and happiness, representing your 3 most profound. I mean, nobody cares, guys. They really, really don't. And there's 2 ways to get your business out there. There's 2 ways. Your brand. You can take your brand, your company name, and your logo and all that kind of thing, and you can do what 99% of people are doing, and they try to bash it into the market. They hide underneath it and they try to bash their brand into the market. Oh, look at my great company. Look at my logo. Look at my company name. Look at my company name. Look at my logo. And they try to bash it out there. That will never, ever, ever work. You will get crushed, crucified, annihilated, destroyed. It will not work. And this is the stuff I never used to say before COVID, but now it's time that some of this actual information from really experienced people get across. Have your logo, make it mean something nice to you, but your personality is number 1. The second way of doing it is you take your personality and you pull the brand up. You lead by your personality. You lead by being a personal brand. You lead by being creative and authentic and genuine, and you pull your brand into the market. And eventually your brand will be able to carry on its own. But if you don't do that, you are going to get crushed, guys. You're going to get annihilated. So how do we do this? You focus on your 500 LinkedIn invitations. And when you go out there with your LinkedIn messaging, you say one thing and one thing only. Hi there, I've just written an article and here is the title of that article. That's all you need to do to start with. And in my course, I go through how to do this in more detail, but I want to show you quickly. And this is where I'm going to pick on Trevor a little bit, because Trevor, on one hand, did a very, very, very good job. Zoom has got this like new thing going. Okay, so from a LinkedIn perspective, right? All you need in your LinkedIn profile is a beautiful background, a beautiful photograph. Not that my photograph is beautiful, apologies. A nice professional photograph and a interesting bio. Okay, I actually don't really like this bio. It was done by an expert on lead generation, and I'm still not convinced. I have a much better one on my other profile, but I'm going to give him the time of day. But you need a good background, etc. Now, what you then do, right, is when you drop and you do those LinkedIn invitations and people accept your LinkedIn invitations and you check to see if they're high quality, and you should not be inviting anybody who is not high quality. You don't work with idiots. You only work with people with the right businesses, the right companies, the right individuals, who they are. You need to make sure your LinkedIn invitations are correct. Now, when you drop the messages into LinkedIn, they look beautiful. It just looks really good. And all you need to do is say, hello, here's an article I wrote. Because you're being specialist, you're specializing, and because you're showing them that you understand their industry and you get their pain, the title of this article is everything. And this is my book, The Captivating One-Liner, which you can get from my website. And that captivating one-liner rolls out into an article. And here's an article by the great Trevor Kettler. Now, look at Trevor's captivating one-liner. And Trevor and I went back and forth back in the day. Engineers, if you don't know what 4IR stands for, then shut down your business. This is what you do. So what Trevor does is he invites engineers and only engineers. those 500 people he wants to talk to, he invites them. He invites them with this: engineers, if you don't know what 4IR stands for, then shut down your business. And they can click and they can read his article. And here it is. Okay. And the article should be quite long. A lot of people would look at this article and say it's long. It's fine for it to be long because it's comprehensive and it speaks the right thing. So this is a really, really good example of a great article. Trevor's put his photo in there. He's put Lee's photo there, and he's not afraid to show his brand, his personality. That's what works. Okay. Now, in my opinion, where Trevor went wrong, and again, forgive me here for Trevor, is he just left it there and didn't do anything with it. And stop me if I'm wrong here, Trevor. What we should be doing, guys, is you should be storing. So our My Most Trusted app over here stores all the invitations that you're being made and allows you to create your hot leads and your sales pipeline in here. Okay, so you're starting to create your sales pipeline. I'm not going to go into too much detail now because there's a lot of videos on this app, and I teach this a lot. And I know that it's supposed to only be half an hour, this talk, and I'm only going to go on for a few more minutes. But what I encourage you guys to do is take a look at these captivating one-liners, and there are more in my book. I'll give you the link to it in a second, and it's free. But look at what Trevor's done here. Engineers, if you don't know what 4IR stands for, then shut down your business. What is the article about? What is Trevor trying to sell? It doesn't matter. The point is, when people receive this article, that doesn't feel like Trevor's trying to sell them. Also, he's targeting engineers. This article, if it didn't say engineers and just went out to the world saying, if you don't know what 4IR stands for, then shut down your business, it's not going to get as many clicks. Because he's talking to specifically engineers, the engineers he's reaching out to look at him and go, here's a guy that understands my business, my industry. And that's what builds Trevor's credibility. Do you see what's happening here, guys? You're building the captivating one-liner, you're reaching out and you're building a sales pipeline, but you're tracking and measure it. So what Trevor did really well, in my opinion, is he did a great article and he did the beginning correctly. But from a measurement and analytics, I'm not quite convinced that Trevor can go and say, here are the 150 people that are in my sales pipeline. These are the people that I'm nurturing. And how to nurture them is a topic that I go into it in a lot more detail in other talks. But you see what's happening, guys? So for those of you who want to get more, just go to maj3.com, okay, www.maj3.com, and you can download my ebook straight off the website. So it's maj3.com, which is majestic3.com, and you can read my ebook. Now, get this, for how disruptive is this? You don't even need a form to fill out. When you click on this book, normally when you click on an ebook, everybody tells you, you've got to ask for their emails, and then you've got to try and put out a form. And then obviously when you try to download the white paper or whatever it is, it pops up a little message. And then the message says, give us your email address before you can download this great content. And then you put in your email address, but you put the wrong email address because no one really wants to give away their email address. And then it notices that you've done it wrong. And then it makes you jump through hoops. And then you have to start proving that you can point the number of bicycles and traffic lights to prove you're not a robot. And then you're tearing your hair out to try and get it. When I believe that you should just give the content away. And the reason for that is very simple. When you start to work with LinkedIn properly, you have all their contact information. You have their email addresses. You have everything you need in front of you. So you can start building your sales pipeline. You don't need to start asking for that. If you're using Facebook and all those other things to drive into a funnel, then yes, you can definitely use that methodology and then it will work. My suggestion is focus on your LinkedIn stuff first, guys. Get this right, get this solid. Then you put all the other stuff as a value add and you cannot lose. You can really, really turn this into an incredible and successful sales funnel operation. So guys, that ends my rant. Huge amounts more to talk to you guys about. I can really go into a lot of detail. If any of you guys want to join, I'm doing a 3-week course with Leon Latergan from the Lion's Den, and you guys can join. So I'll put the link on there. Half an hour every day for 3 weeks, and you're going to do everything. Build that sales pipeline, get your captivating one-liner, etc. Otherwise, I don't mind doing another one specifically for the 4-Ways Chamber as well. No problem. But what I want to hear from you guys is I want you guys to give me feedback now. I want you guys to tell me why you feel this can work in your business, why you feel it can't, what's good, what's bad. I want you to try and challenge me on what I've spoken to about today. So let me have it.
Scott, fantastic presentation. I love it. And I'm a huge believer in LinkedIn anyway. A little footnote. One of my partners is a very good videographer. And one of the things that he does is he'll actually do 10, 15-second video comments back to people, because hardly anybody does it on LinkedIn. And that work, the conversion rate on that's very, very high. So it's just a little tip that he gave me.
Brock, what I'll even post to you now, let me quickly find it. If you quickly Google Scott Cundill, how to leave a LinkedIn voice message, I'm going to actually do I did a video. I didn't do video messages, but yes, Brock, absolutely. So I'm going to, exactly what Brock's talking about. Most people, sorry, that's private. Let me just quickly send it to everybody. So Brock, you're 100% correct. So a lot of people don't know this about LinkedIn. You can leave a LinkedIn voice message or a video message. It's hugely powerful, guys. Brock, thank you for bringing that up. It's hugely powerful. And I've just put a little link to one of my videos in there that you guys can do. I did a talk specifically on how to do that. So yeah, thank you. Trevor, I want to bring up your million at $1 a day. So you want 1 million people at $1 a day. One of the best ways to do that is to find 10 people who have got a database of 100,000. And that's your reseller network. Or 100 people who have got databases of 10,000. Have I calculated that correctly? You see what you're doing? So you're still bringing it down to a manageable 30, 40, 50 in inverted commas clients. And then you can grow it from there. So yeah, to get them one by one is tricky. Yeah.
You're spot on correct, Scott. And our vision with Wisdoms is 1 million people at $1 a month, but we've just upgraded it after your talk to $1 a day because we're going to work in that little hierarchy. But you know what I'd also like to come on board here and just, I put it into the chat facility at the chamber. We've been working with our members to turn around and say, listen, this is the time of the personal brand. Forget the business brand, forget all your logos and all that sort of thing. But having said that, you can't forget it. Okay, and so we've gone out with a mantra because people are so used to actually promoting the business brands is bring your personal brand in. Then behind that, build your business brand. And behind that, use an association or groups like this or networks, promote your networks. Because that will, if you build in your personal brand and you build in your business brand behind that and your networks, everything will trickle down to where your content is. And you know who does this well? Lee Harrison. You must ask Lee just to comment on this building of personal brand, because Lee began this full time at the beginning of the year.
I'd love to hear from Lee. Lee, are you available?
Yes, so thrown in the deep end by my business partner. You've got to love it. Thanks, everyone. I have resisted. I mean, I've been in my own training and development business for 16 years, and I've always been behind a brand. I was in the corporate space, and so worked with brands that had a presence there already and used the reputation and the credibility of the brand to build my business. And so I resisted personal branding, fighting tooth, nail, however you want to do it. And then had to swallow my words and realize that the brand, as much as we talk about the brand, it takes away the personal. It takes away the especially in a highly competitive environment. It takes away the differentiator, which is you. And so I've had to step up to the mark. I've had to learn how to put myself in front, tell my story, and be true to myself. So that's been a learning curve, but one that it makes you vulnerable, I've realized, but it also makes people, I realize that's how you connect with people. So it's actually bringing more of the human dynamic into the sales arena, rather than it just being a cold process.
Beautiful. I couldn't agree more, and you explained it so eloquently and brilliantly. I couldn't do a better job myself. And the one thing I do want to mention, guys, is so you get people like me and Trevor energetic, love being on stage. We're used to it. And I understand that that is maybe 5% of the population, that we thrive in that kind of environment. And a lot of other people, as you go down the high reservedom scale, I'd be interested to know where you were, Lee, because you just come across like you're one of, like me and Trevor, like you were born to be explaining stuff on video and in front of people. I'd love to know where you were to begin with. And then you get the people who are just, they hate being in front of the camera. They hate being anywhere. They don't want to speak. They don't want to get on stage or anything. And what I say to those people, it doesn't mean you don't have to put your brand, your personal brand forward. There are other ways of doing it. You can pre-record videos. You can use the written word, writing articles, but use your face, use your photograph. You can get professional photos done. You don't have to be live in order to build your personal reputation and your personal brand. So it doesn't matter where you are on that scale, your personal brand needs to work. And in fact, a lot of people resonate with slower, softer, possibly more analytical people who don't speak like me and go off on 500 tangents. So Lee, tell us very quickly, were you always like that, or did you have to develop yourself?
So there's a big difference between facilitating when, you know, so when I'm in front of a group and I'm completely in touch with my material and then I'm in my zone. But in front of a camera, completely different kettle of fish. And it didn't matter whether it was live, it didn't matter if I was recording. I felt it was the most horrible feeling. And I literally spent hours in front of the camera just trying to come across, and then I would get a response from Trevor that said, "Oh, Lee, you look so natural." I said, "Oh, it only took me 5 hours of practice." It definitely is something I decided to commit to, and I think that's it was taking on board you know, expertise like your own, other people listening to the gurus of the day saying, you actually have to be in front, and we have to use the platforms that are available to us, like social media, in which case best you get comfortable with being in front of the camera. So yeah, it's been work for me and is ongoing. So I'll keep learning.
That's such a great story, Lee. Thank you. And it just goes to show you that one of the best things you can invest in is yourself. End of last year, I started actually doing, although you wouldn't really notice it sometimes because I don't always consciously do it, especially today, but usually when I'm doing shorter talks or especially webinars, in Zoom, I can see all of you. So it's much more interactive, which I prefer. When there's a webinar, it's the weirdest thing. I did one with 350 people the other day, hey, and it was like, you can't see any of them and you're just talking. But when I do that, I actually did a lot of my own voice coaching. So I actually started really kind of learning how to speak properly and doing these, and you kind of do that. And then you realize that you kind of sound a bit false. And then you eventually kind of found that happy medium. But I practiced a lot to try and get better at it. And each one of you can do the same thing. And all of you guys who are nervous, even if English isn't your first language or whatever, it's so important that you at least try, because you can record a video so easily of yourself, practice it 100 times, get it right, go to Fiverr.com or any of those kind of things, freelancers, spend 200 ZA rand, $20 or whatever, get somebody to spend half an hour just polishing it, editing it, fixing it up, making it look good, and you've got a beautiful video. So there are so many different ways of doing it. And what I did was I created Cundill.com, which is a podcasting brand. And what I do with Cundill.com is I use that to interview my clients. And I use that content of that video to push into those leads that I was telling you about. So those 150 leads are continuously being nurtured and worked on. And those 150 leads are then becoming appointments, et cetera, et cetera. So you're starting to grow in your own content. And that's effectively the process, guys. It's not that difficult. And we overcomplicate things, and we succumb to especially corporate agendas. The big giants, the Facebooks of the world, the LinkedIns of the world, they want you to spend money on advertising. They want you to get hooked in. They make you feel so good about getting that extra like or whatever. A third of all internet traffic, ladies and gentlemen, is false. It's bots. It's robots. It's not human. 1/3 of all internet traffic is bots. So immediately take whatever you think you have and reduce it by a third. And that happened to Donald Trump. I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, he called the CEO of Twitter into his office. He wanted to know where about a third of all his, you can Google it and check it out. Where did most of my Twitter followers? Well, we had to remove a whole lot of them. They were false. So it happens, guys. You need to realize that your level of authenticity needs to come with working on real human beings and making sure that you're dealing with the right people. I can't stress that enough. If it doesn't serve your sales pipeline, if it's not serving that number of clients that you're going to get, if it's not serving the number of people that you're nurturing, because when you spend time and effort really nurturing, schmoozing, writing content specifically for that group of people, that's where they will get to know you, trust you, get your phone call, get your business. Anybody else want to say something? I think there's a couple of partnerships here. Thanks, Brock. I think Brock is just mentioning. Great. Yeah, definitely worth connecting with Brock, guys, as well. Anyone else want to chat in the last couple of minutes? We've still got a few minutes. Any questions?
Scott?
Hey, Luther.
A long time no see. When you're back in South Africa?
Not sure. I really love Bali. I won't lie.
I love the program, and I'm a keen supporter. But I'm more in love with Majestic in terms of one saying there, then I can work with it. You didn't mention that. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, sure. Well, so Majestic is interesting because we've broadcasted. So the kind of small business version of Majestic is the My Most Trusted app, which I showed you before. I'll quickly show it to you again now. And this happens. So let me just quickly take you through it. So it's a Trojan horse on LinkedIn, and it sits on the right-hand side of your LinkedIn profile. And you can measure your sales tracking, your hot leads, you can do your invitations. Where this differs is because you've probably got hundreds of LinkedIn connections, but you want to move those who are relevant into the circle here. And you can actually create, and you can tag them, and you can add them, and you can set up reminders. You can set little quick messages. I can do some really cool stuff. I don't want to go into a full demo now, but you can access it on mymosttrusted.net. And there's a whole bunch of little videos on here. If you scroll down, there's a bunch of videos that you guys can go through it. And that's going to help you create the measurement of that sales pipeline. You're wasting your time if you do 500 invitations and you don't know who those 500 are, and you haven't measured exactly who's in your pipeline and what you're doing with them. You need to make sure you know who they are. And the simplest, cheapest tool that you can use out there is the one that you should probably go for. A lot of people use CRM, etc. From Majestic side, we also obviously have the database and all the emails and all the other fancy stuff that goes with it. There's a lot of tech behind what we do, and I will be doing that in a course. If anyone wants to join that, I'll put the link in there again. Let me just quickly post it to everybody, and you can join it. So it's myself and Leon Latachan are doing it together, and every day we do half an hour, and you build your sales pipeline, do your captivating one-liner, and then that will lead you into the full Majestic principle. Because remember, guys, Majestic is a philosophy and a methodology just as much as it is a technology system. So I'm definitely would love to chat to you guys about that more. And also joining SA Business Hub, hey? I know that Luther, you become quite connected, I think, now with Fourways. You guys you guys could collaborate so nicely. Trevor, have you managed to spend some time with Luther? You guys have got such synergistic groups, hey? Wow. Cool. Yes, guys, anyone else want to say something?
If I can come in on that, we're open to collaboration with everybody and anybody who wants to grow and go global. So Luther, he's got 2 slots on at Virtual Trade Fair. So he's going to promote himself big time here.
Yeah, Luther, I've known Luther for, Luther, 10 years. I mean, your beard was black, I think, when I first met you. And yeah, man, Luther is a superb human being and with an incredible heart. And I completely and utterly, recommend working with him. Really, really good guy, and huge synergy with what you guys are doing at Chamber. And once you've got enough, as I said, it took 4 good resellers. I mean, 2 of them are really, really good at the moment in our business. The other 2 are getting there. Guys, I don't need to look for business anymore, because I combined direct business with the reseller channel. And you work on both of those. And if you get that right, it can fly for you. But I know you're going to hear me saying this over and over again. Please don't be fooled by the corporate, I don't even want to say the corporate vortex of huge social media platforms that are desperate for you to spend money on advertising. They want you to get it and they want you to suck you in. Be very careful. If it doesn't serve your agenda, and if it's not absolutely measurable, and if it doesn't add to what you're building in your sales pipeline, don't do it, guys, please. How much time we got? Ivan, are we pretty much done? Do you need to close off? Good. Does anyone want to make one more comment to finish off, or you happy to? Luther?
Scott, I don't know if I ever told you that. You saved my life about 10, 15 years ago with Majestic. Because I had 7 databases, I couldn't manage my data. I was totally in a race. And since Majestic, I tell you, I can deal with tens of thousands of data. And I think I'm all over the world. Thank you again for that.
I was going to ask you, Luther, because like you were in the UK quite a bit. So are you back in SA now? I take it.
Yes. Unfortunately, this year I will not be visiting UK because there's no flights and we're not allowed to go. But I only spent about 6 months a year. I spent the summers there and my summers in South Africa. I like summer.
I agree. And just to finish off, that reminds me of a great quote. They said, you only ever want to have 2 holidays a year of 6 months each.
Love it.
Guys, thank you so much. It was really, really awesome. I'm looking forward to chatting to you guys in the future. Once again, 4Ways Chamber, great work. Love Virtual Trade Fair. See you guys soon.